is a book review of The Human Torch and Thing. It's a complete collection. No, to be honest, more like an epic collection as far as I'm concerned, but it's a complete one. And it includes stories from Strange Tales, predominantly The Human Torch. The Thing appeared in some of the latter stories. So you've got Strange Tales 101 to 134, as well as annual number 2. Now, Strange Tales was originally a monster mag, mystery mag, horror, and they come out in 1951. And there's a variety of lots and lots of different artists involved. You've got Lee, Lieber, Kirby, Ayers, and many more. And many, many stories, of course. Rabble Rouser, Plant Man, Sandman, Wizard, Paste Pot Pete, as well as you've got Spider-Man, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, the Iceman, and the Beatles, a few others as well, turn up. So this is all in colour. Issue 101 was 1962, a year after the original first appearance of the Fantastic Four. Now he appears through the courtesy of the Fantastic Four magazine. That's very good of them, I know. So you've got him, and no one seems to know that Johnny Storm is the Human Torch, which I find baffling beyond belief. Get a bit of an origin, slightly differently drawn from the origin story, but obviously ostensibly the same. And you've got the initial guy who's basically threatening a fairground for nefarious reasons. It's not a really high point of great comics, but it's still a brilliant first issue. And I've got that issue. I love that one. Real tatty, fallen to pieces copy. I love it. All the same. Strange Tales 102. You got the Wizard. Now the Wizard, of course, was later with Frightful Four. We had the Sandman and Medusa, and Paste Pot Pete was the Trapster. But he's got all these inventions, and you think, really, I love the fact he's got a catalogue as well. He's kept a scrapbook of my triumphs. Ripped out of newspapers. Couldn't he have done it a bit better than that? He's a master of everything. He knows he's more brainy than Reed Richards. Why didn't he just go and help people, help humanity? But no, prisoner of the fifth dimension. Could have been the fifth generation, but the fifth dimension, 103. That's a good story, of course. He meets this. Now she turns up a lot later in the story. One of the women in it. And it's just a great little yarn. And you've got Paste Pot Pete. Paste Pot Pete looks really odd. I mean, it's so weird in comparison to what he looked like later. Not that he improved much, but he looks really odd in this. And this is, of course, art by Jack Kirby. Brilliant Paste Pot Pete. Unbeatable super weapon. Wizard. The Return of the Wizard. Classic story. Now, I always loved inventiveness. This is the thing that's really lacking maybe in the modern comics, is that old Human Torch would often do things that in here, like he would surround himself but with a field of flame. I've never seen him do that ever again. Maybe he does, but he's just got here to keep gas from reaching me. He covers himself in this flame. That's pretty useful. Not saying that would work, but heck, do it. Go for it. But he did loads of these things. Loads of flying, various tricks that he burnt things and could project at different angles. Doesn't do any of that now. But some great scenes with Fantastic Four. There was quite a few appearances, of course, of the Sue Storm and Reed Richards, of course. The Threat of the Torrid Twosome. Reed Richards again. Now that one's slightly different, the artwork. Oh, this is Submariner, this one. Submariner, you got Dick Ayers. So you see the art's changed, but it's still... Submariner looks really odd in this. It's very odd, very different Submariner, because of course it's not Jack Kirby doing the story there. This one, Jack Kirby's again. Got Painter of 1,000 Perils. Now you get this painting board, and you got this magic paint. What would you do with it? Would you use it to create some really amazing things, do some things? No, let's just make lots of money. Sad, really, isn't it? And I love the fact that he's always very spoiled story, so I'm not going to say anything. The Sorcerers and the Pandora's Box. That's a good story. And the Wizard again. Wizard and Paste Pot Pete, they join forces. And they're just double the uselessness. They're really, they always fail, of course. It's still A great yarn. For once, I agree with him. And he's sort of got a real. He's changing his look. Actually, he's old Pastebot Pete. You got asbestos man. Oh, really? Get rid of the asbestos. Cursed stuff. The eel. The eel turns up, and I love the old Human Torch here. So there's some really great yarns here. You've got the Human Torch. This is again Dick Ayers. I read. It's nice to see. This is the great thing about this book, because you get so used to obviously the Fantastic Four by Jack Kirby, brilliant as that was, but Dick Ayers doing thing, and it's a very different feel to it. The Fantastic Four, and you've got a lovely one here with the annual, where you've got the Human Torch and, of course, Spidey. That's a good story. Plant Man, great story. Plant Man, Captain America. Now, of course, Captain America jumps out. One side sunny. Sandman strikes, of course, the brilliant Sandman from Spider-Man comics. You've got Spider-Man there. And again, looks very, very different from the Sandman of Ditko. It's good. Puppet Master. Now, Puppet Master, this one's weird. This one, drawn by Dick Ayers again, but inked by G.O. Bell. I assume George Bell. I assume G.O. Bell. Now, the Thing battles the Thing. So he brings the Thing in, with special guest star, the Thing. Now, the artwork is very odd in this one. It's one of the more odder artwork pages. But it's obviously a continuation of the story of the Puppet Master in Fantastic Four. The Eel. Dick Ayers again. And the Wizard turns up again. And you got this one. The Torch goes wild with the Rabble Rouser. Now, he was an unusual villain, the Rabble Rouser. So the Rabbit Rouser. Then Iceman. Now, this is a nice crossover. So you got the X-Men. Now, I just thought, actually, this must have been one of the early crossover issues. I don't know what issue this was, with the Iceman. Is that, no, 1964. So it was 1964 when they'd only just really been around for a little while. Of course, 1963 with the X-Men. You got obviously with his girlfriend. You got the Human Torch on a cruise ship. Plant Man turns up again. 3 against the Torch. And you've got the Thing, the Beetle, and the Things. So the Thing is starting to get. You can see the Thing on the Human Torch and the Thing. Of course, beneath that you've got Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's brilliant Steve Ditko ones. You got Pastebot Pete with his completely stupid costume, but I guess it was more useful than his previous one. So again, you've got the Thing again, and the Thing is obviously clearly established as a member. And this Submariner must be stopped. Great bit of art all the way through, and you've got Old Reed and Sue Storm and Dick Ayers again. You've got the Mad Thinker and the Puppet Master. Now, Puppet Master, obviously both regulars in the Fantastic Four. You've got this mysterious figure there, and then Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I love that issue. Love that issue, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I assume, of course, this was before the Avengers. Or maybe, yeah. Yeah, there are some, so you can actually see there, you've got little pictures of the various characters, Captain America and Iron Man. So I assume this was before the Avengers. There's a great introduction storyline here. The Terrible Trio, of course, they were characters from the Doc Doom story earlier on, Fantastic Four issue. And you got the Beatles. Can't beat that. The Beatles, I love it. Love it. And then you're into the Bouncing Ball of Doom. Some of the stories went a bit weird. This one's Bob Powell. Now, at the time, I really looked at this and I thought, oh, not really keen on this. But to be honest, Bob Powell's artwork wasn't too bad. It's different. Very unusual. The stories went really weird at this point. And you've got, again, Bob Powell again. Spaceship One. And then the Terrible Toys. It was at the end, these last 4 or 5 stories, you can really see a change in the stories. They were becoming extremely odd. Very odd. And then you even got Kang. And that's an odd story. This one, The Challenge of the Watcher. And Kang is in the story. And even Merlin. So that is a completely bonkers story. Time-travelling story. Medieval period, etc. I love this where he's all sort of with the Watcher taking him back in time. Very odd. Got brilliant Strange Tales annual issue 2 house ad, as well as, of course, the Fantastic Four annual #1. And then you've got some reprint covers. They did, for some weird reason, reprints of the Human Torch stories, 103 and Submariner 23, etc. So some Human Torch, they were in the 70s, they came out. I actually remember buying some of those, and they were good stories. And they had Submariner 35 in that one, as well as, and also a Human Torch story intended for Submariner 36 that first saw print in 1968, Marvel Superheroes 16. So this is a really unusual volume. Some really great stories. It's full of some really weird stories as well. I have to say that it's one of those stories that you might think, why? Oh, why? But I liked them. They had a charm. They were fun stories, and I loved it. Great, complete collection.